Okay, hello. I've been doing these sort of short streams about C closures and nested functions, and we only have nested functions right now, but I'm doing all of this with a view to the fact that C is going to get closures this year, next year, the year after that, maybe, but sometime soon, and for the rest of your life. I don't know. Is Casablanca a Christmas film? Feels like a Christmas film, I think, because I only watch it at Christmas. Anyway, I wanted to show sort of where I got to. I'll make this bigger, like that. Ah, yeah. So I've been doing this thing with nested functions. I'm going to split this out into a library. I'm not sure if this library will be useful for anyone. Who cares? Whatever. I feel like we have to find a way to be able to make more libraries, more maybe ephemeral libraries, libraries that are much lighter weight. Um, Feels like quite a big deal right now, doesn't it, to consume something? Oh, by the way, I have got a shitty cold still, but it does feel like it's getting better. I did even go to the doctors, which is not something I do. Anyway, still having to apologise for blowing my nose and coughing all the time. But so I took all of the stuff I was doing just a bit further. So this library is called curlback because callback and curl. Anyway, so you can do a curlback auto, and you don't need the buffer, but you can pass the buffer in if you want. I seem to have made a mess of that, didn't I? But anyway, there you go. So it takes this handler, which is a nested function. So this is a very callback style, and it's still quite ugly to program with compared to, say, JavaScript promises, or of course, JavaScript. Sorry, I can't remember what I just said. Did I say promises? JavaScript callback style is nicer because you get embedded lambdas. Like you can just put the function in, so at least it reads downwards. I don't think nested functions have a literal form. You have to declare them inside the thing. So closures do have, or at least the closure proposal. I think there are two major closure proposals, and both of them, I think, have a literal form, like a lambda. Anyway, so you don't get that. You have to pre-declare it. So you're having to read upwards, but hopefully the point, my feeling is that you're not having to read upwards very far. It's like, it's here, and the directory read handler is here. So you get an HTTP thing given to you when you declare one of these. When you call curlback with your function, you get this HTTP thing. And this HTTP thing then lets you get, so you can see how we're jumping from point to point. So this HTTP thing then lets you do this, so you can do a get with a get handler. Okay, so, and then here's the get handler, and you can see that takes the status code. So this is a response handler where we're getting only the response. And we're getting the status code of the response and the headers of the response. And we also get this thing called a fetcher, a callback fetch. Okay, and the fetcher is, again, modeled, I guess, deeply inspired by JavaScript. and things like the fetch API, you can call fetcher.json and you pass it a function, and here's the JSON receive function, and this is getting a JSON document. Now, so obviously what comes in to a curl, an HTTP request, is just bytes, right? But this JSON fetcher is doing some work to pass those bytes and turn them into something real. So what I don't have yet, well, anyway, let's just go through this. So this is still tightly bound to one particular JSON implementation. And again, before I make it a generically available library, I feel like I want things like media type handling to be something that I can provide. That is making me feel a bit icky though, because that's what Java and things like that used to do, and it sucked. So we'll see. I think it's just a sort of feeling that you have to genericize everything. But if I don't genericize that, then you'll be tied. Anyone who wants to use this kind of way of doing things is tied to my implementation, unless I wrap up a whole bunch of implementations. So, you know, when we come to deployment and usage and all of those things, we have challenges. And I haven't solved all those challenges yet, but from a point of view of me and being able to do stuff, I have. So we can turn this void pointer into something real, into a JSON document, and you can see that, you know, we could defer that, but it's the same as a defer. It's basically going to free it at the end of the thing. And the job here is that we're trying to take the stuff out of the JSON document and put it on a struct. So we've got this struct called a dir, and in there it's got all of the URLs that you need for Acme. So of course there are three things doing essentially the same thing, and so of course I could reduce all of these by having a utility method function, whatever. I could do the same, you know, I could reduce whatever it is, 3 times 4 lines to just 3 lines, probably. Anyway, I still think it's readable, and it works. I'm not sure. There are still some challenges, like other additional challenges. Like in here, if you want to, like, all the curl stuff is completely hidden, right? I mean, we have no ability to do anything to the curl here. But what if you want to turn off SSL verification, for example? You can't do it. As it happens, what I'm doing here is I'm running a local copy of what is called Pebble, which is the Acme test server. So I do want to turn off, like, this thing is HTTPS. Test config Pebble config.json. Does it say it's HTTPS? Yeah, I mean, there are certs here. There we go. And available out there. So this is probably an HTTPS get, isn't it? We could change that, but hey. So I do want to do that, and obviously I don't want to do that in production. Like, I won't be using a fake one. I'll be using a real one. So I will need it. TLS verification, TLS certificate verification. So it's kind of tricky, isn't it? How am I gonna do that? Again, following the JavaScript model, perhaps instead of specifying a URL, we could have a different function, get X or something, where you specify a struct which has the URL in it, and potentially a whole bunch of other things, including maybe callback for setting up the socket, TLS verification, things like that. So yeah, I think it's doable, but for now, I'm not going to worry about that. It all works. I can show you it working. Local Pebble, so that's just all of the local state. So you can see this is just me doing everything to it, and then let's do this, and you can see that we get a payload in that local Pebble directory. Now we have an account.json. Let's make that clearer. So that's all good, right? And we get a next nonce, which is what happens like every time you talk to an Acme server. You get this header, so you have to record it all the time. So now I need to sort of take this. I feel like this can do. Oh, can it do posts? Where's my post? So there's another one of these handlers. That's the head version. HTTP.head. And you see that the callback fetch there is marked empty because heads don't have things, but you obviously still need the type. Where's the post? Here's the post, the make account post. So where's the callback for this? Feels like it's off at the bottom, yeah. So there's a lot of stuff in here that I think I'm going to try and abstract, like the right of the file. Not sure that that is necessary. Anyway, I think I'm going to try and use. Oh yeah, so let's look at this. This is the post handler, and you can see we're doing a post here. Here's the post, and here's the post handler, and you can see it's got a fetcher, and the fetcher.json is that, and here's the JSON receive again. So it's pretty much the same thing. So what this is doing is it's sending off a JSON document to Acme, and it gets back another JSON document with some things, but you want to record parts of the JSON document that you sent and the stuff that you get back. So it's then combining the stuff that it receives with another document. So I mean that all works quite well, doesn't it? And then you know, after it's got it, presuming it's okay, I should probably test the status. So presuming that it's got it, we also get the location string, and that becomes another part of the document. So yeah, there we go, and then we turn it into a, you know, we basically make a file, and what do we do? Do we dumps it? Where do we do that? Yeah. So we make a string out of the JSON that we got back. So yeah, I mean, it works. Stuff like this could be better. As I say, all of this work is being done in the callback handler. And really, I could clean this up, couldn't I? It doesn't. All of this could be another function somewhere. That is managed better. Anyway, there you go. It works. I think it's kind of a good way of doing things. My point is, what I've been trying to show you is that this style of programming is coming to see in a big way because the standard is going to change, and I think it's going to make a big difference to how we code, and the sorts of things that we can say and abstract away, and I think that's going to be really powerful. Does that mean you shouldn't learn Rust? Does that mean you shouldn't learn Zig? Does that mean you shouldn't learn a camel? No. But equally, you're not required to because C is getting better all the time. And now I really feel like an old dog who won't learn new tricks. But hey ho, that isn't actually what I am. So there we go. Thanks for watching.